Yo, being a kid is fun as heck, yo. You just got a type of freedom that any average or most grown people don't have or ever will. That and an overwhelmingly lack of IQ levels and brain cells to properly think and comprehend stuff. An example of this behavior is getting into trouble or just doing some sort of PG-13 hate crime that could or could not affect society in a negative way. I think I can speak for everyone when I say we've all had our little PG-13 hate crime phase in our lives, and if I'm wrong about that, I guess you wasn't built like a real nigga. I'm joking. But without a doubt, we've all been mischievous in one way or another. And look, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you for that because it's experiences like that that make a person who they are, bit by bit. But as long as they don't go overboard, like me. Now, I'm not saying I was some kind of juvenile brat carelessly roaming the streets, committing heinous crimes left and right, though that does sound wickedly sick as fuck, yo. I was a normal kid. If anything, I was actually a loser. And I know that's hard to believe, but it's true. Luckily, I had enough social skills to make friends. And with that, I have a story I want to tell you guys that involves these specifics. The year is 2012. I'm like 8 years old and life was low-key hitting. And not in a bad way, of course. It was just right. No Goldilocks. It's a Thursday afternoon. School just came out. And if my memory serves me correct, I don't think I had school the next day because my friend pulled up to my crib shortly after I got home. Nothing much happened at this point of the story. Just two dudes gruesomely touching each other on the ground, rolling left and right, breathing heavily and grunting. Wrestling. We were wrestling. WWE was every young boy's favorite thing back then, so you can't really blame us since this was the rise of the iPad era, but barely anyone was bumping tablets or smart devices like that, let alone giving them to kids. So our only source of entertainment was some good old non-fake wrestling. Skip like 15 minutes later, your boy folded friend, let's call him Larry. Now Larry was all mad as shit that I got mad crazy skills since, I'm just me. He said that we should go bike riding around the block because his sorry ass didn't want to run hands one more time to regain his dignity. So me, being the good friend I am, I was on board with this plan. Now I need to paint a picture for you guys in your head. Larry is a kid with a decent lifestyle. Both parents are around and they were a family of three, so they were well off with money. To me, he was practically rich because I had none of that, but I wasn't envious or jealous. I just learned to accept that fact. There's nothing you can do about it. That's just life. So we went on our little bike round around the block, even hit up a couple friends' places to talk and flex our whips because that's just mandatory. Flexing on the haters is always a good practice, remember that. So after that hella self-serving flex fest on the haters, we took our detour route through the local shopping center. Now, us being 8 years of age, a regular person would think that we have no business in a place like that. And to that, I agree. I felt so out of place, hella anxious because Larry's dumbass wanted to ride our bikes all over the parking area, also known as the place where motor vehicles are pushing in and pulling out of parking spaces like every 2 seconds, where it's totally not safe for pedestrians to be chilling and doing nothing there, let alone cyclists like me and him. But he didn't give a shit and kept on riding. I'd ride too, but I'd stop from time to time because I was low-key scared out of my mind that I might get turned into roadkill with one wrong move. Oh, and of course the employees who might catch us and cause a lot more trouble than we need. This went on for like a good couple of minutes, and I guess since we more or less got off the hook of riding our bikes where we shouldn't, Larry had one of those eureka moments and suggested that me and him go window shopping in a grocery store. Like some sort of homeless couple that got blessed by some racist white dude driving a Ford Ranger. Too far? Too far. My fault. I just don't get what made him think of doing all that since we was just cycling and we had no money. Or at least that's what I thought. Since my ass barely got any allowance at home, I always assumed other kids had it rough as me and got no racks from their parents. But in that moment of time, my respect for Larry skyrocketed. Because not only did he pull out some cash, bro told me he'd get us candy bars and snacks. His treat. Lord bless this man's soul. I get the mooch off him. Now things seem to be going well until I realized that one of us has to keep watch on the bicycles during the purchasing of the goods. Now you'd think that's not a problem since Larry's the one with the money to pay, so my duty was to watch the bikes, right? Wrong! You need to remember, we're freshly baked infants with steeds we call bicycles and more money a kid should have. Our way of thinking is far from rational. So what did we do? Well, that's simple. We ran a game of rock, paper, scissors, and I won by a landslide. So Larry gave me the money and said he'd bring the bikes up to the entrance in like 5 minutes. I'm like, bet. I walk into the store, and as you'd expect, there's just a whole lot of stuff as far as the eye can see. So I make haste and head straight to the snack aisle to scope out the options we have. It was only until I got there until I realized I don't know what kind of snacks Larry likes. So I had to go back to him and find out. And on my way back, I saw one of the greatest things any boy my age could ever lay his eyes on. It was a rack of toy cars, but not just any toy cars. It was Hot Wheels. Every boy's dream is to at least own one of these. And as I said more times than I care to count, a jigaboo was too broke to get one, and I couldn't afford it with the money that wasn't even mine. First thing that comes to my mind right then and there was that I should try hopping on Swipe at the Fox's Flow and steal one of them rather than paying with the money I had, because it was totally affordable. It's just that it wasn't my money and I had that saved for other investments. But I really wanted Hot Wheels. So what did I do? I left it alone and went to Larry, told him about it, and asked him what kind of snacks he wants. But he does not care about the snacks anymore, since his attention is now directed at the Hot Wheels too. But he wouldn't let me use the money to just buy one, so he suggested I do the one thing any person should never do: steal it. At that moment, I had a lot of thoughts running through my mind, but I had a vision. It was a crystal clear vision, and it promised me an afternoon with good snacks and a new motherfucking Hot Wheels. The plan was set. All it needed was motion. I had no more than 3 minutes to pull this off without anyone catching me. I went in straight to the snack aisle, but before reaching the aisle, I made quick work of snagging a Hot Wheels. I didn't even care which one it was. I was just pressed for time. There were cameras at every corner, so me grabbing the snacks would make me look like I'm doing exactly that. I make my way to the paid till with the Hot Wheels tucked into my pants, hidden underneath my shirt, and I'm sweating bullets, hoping I don't get caught. I'm praying I make it past the small talk with the old lady who was so kindly taking time out of her day to serve a criminal. Oh my god, this unsuspecting lady might get caught up in this mess. I couldn't feel any more bad than I did in that moment, but it came. The light. At the end of the tunnel, receipt in my hand, exit is in my reach, but with every step I take, it seems that I get further away from the exit. Is it the stress levels rising? Am I tweaking out right now? Is it a force of the supernatural ready to screw me over when I'm so close to victory? Nah, it's just time distorting and slowing down drastically.
All my fellas, subscribe. All my fellas, subscribe. All my fellas, subscribe. All my fellas.
With every passing second making the exit an impossible task to get to. Yo, let's dip! The words Larry yelled out to me resonated in my head, bringing time back to normal and giving me the strength I needed to get to the getaway vehicle. One step for Flunky. And who knows how many steps with the Hot Wheels at stake here. And with that, I make it to the exit, scot-free. I got onto my bike, snacks in my hand, Hot Wheels on my balls. It's acquired. No time wasted, we split from the scene and go to the nearest park and take a look at the merchandise. Now the Hot Wheels was glorious. It was a dark, yet bright purple-bodied car with green windows and lime rims. For a random option or random pick, I gotta hand it to myself for picking a gem like it. I couldn't be more satisfied than I was in that moment. Well, until Larry and I started arguing on who's gonna take the car back home, because no money was contributed into the purchasing of this item. So it was really anyone's game. I ended up taking it home. I had it for like a couple of years. I think I lost it. But if I ever do find it, I'm gonna keep it for safekeepings. But I really doubt I'm gonna find it. But hey, that was one hell of an experience in my opinion. But there were many more like it, like a lot more. Like I said in that other video, I have a lot of shoplifting stories, and this is just one out of many of them. So if you guys did enjoy this video, right, me telling you my story, consider subscribing, liking. I'd appreciate it a lot. But with that, I'm out.